Up here in the top right side, it's Storm Gaming's MaxPax. And in the bottom left side, in the blue, GUMIHO. Storm Gaming team kill here in, I believe this is the quarter final. I don't think it's the round of 16. I think it's the quarterfinal. We will see, of course. Barracks there, command center there. So it's going to be just a barracks gas. Looks like a real standard opening for GUMIHO. Not something he does very often. And I say that, where's his gas? Now, if he takes the gas in a moment, it means it's going to be a Marauder opening. Yeah, guys, this is a Marauder opening. I was like, it's not a gasless expand because no one does that. And yeah, maybe GUMIHO would do it, but like he's going 18 gas rather than 16 racks, 16 gas. Because you don't need much gas in order to go to Tech Lab. So he's going to go Marine to kill the probe, then lift this, build a Tech Lab, and then go for Marauder for his early defense. He's also, is he going to wall off? No, he's going to go for a nice quick command center at a minute 20. So it is a very quick command center. And very cool opening from him. 3 workers are on the gas straight away. Now, does he click on the gas? MaxPax, I didn't see a red circle on the gas, so I don't think he clicks on it, though. Actually, I'm not sure if you can tell from the player's camera if they've selected an enemy thing or not in the observer interface. Second gas does go down, and MaxPax, of course, with the Nexus before Cybercore, so a very economic opening for him. Going to feel happy about that since he is indeed up against a Marine opening. Now, he's going to do the dance here, saying, let me out, let me out. If GUMIHO gets lazy, he will let the probe out. But GUMIHO going to continue to micro. MaxPax will get out. Oh my god, I can't believe he managed to juke him. GUMIHO got lazy there. GUMIHO could have done that dance all day long, but I think at the end of the day, he said, I don't want you to know that I'm going for the Tech Lab Marauder. That's the more important thing to hide. I don't care if you escape. He's also, this is his only scout. It's just checking there's no proxy Stargate here, because if it was, he'd be kind of screwed going Marauders. He'd have to pull out there and actually stop it from getting up, right? Because he doesn't really have anything that shoots up. Second barracks is on the way behind us, and a second gas geyser. So I think from the early Marauders, this will transition into a 2 racks factory starport build, where GUMIHO probably gets a cyclone or 2 early. And like I said, I expect the factory to go down, I guess right about 3 minutes is what I would assume here. It's already got the orbital going. Such a quick orbital. So it is actually a very economic opening as well. Oh, Concussive isn't ready yet. 4 seconds away. He gets some hits on the Stalker, but the Stalker gets some damage essentially for free. And does get out of there. Shield battery goes down. That's only 1 Stalker. That's all that's out. And Adept will come out. Much better for tanking versus the Marauder and doing damage versus the Marine. And GUMIHO's actually going to go to the Watchtower just to get a little bit more map vision with his Marauders and maybe look to like flank some units out there. It's a cute idea. Cute idea, just scouting with his units, checking a little bit for proxies here, and trying to see if he's getting surprised by anything. It's actually a 3rd barracks, just a very delayed 3rd barracks. Okay, interesting, very interesting. He might go a reactor on that. I think he will, because remember I was casting GUMIHO just before. I was saying GUMIHO really likes going heavy Marine, and he's already got such an early Tech Lab making stim. He could make shields off that as well. And then still do it. Knowing GUMIHO, he might even build a few Marines off this with no add-on to start. And then go forwards from there. Adept comes in for a scout from MaxPax, but that one meets its end very, very quickly. Blink is on the way. There is, of course, 2 gates, Blink, a Robo, and a 3rd. Very greedy 3rd base here from MaxPax. I think having scouted the Marauders, he kind of knows, hey, you're not going to be on the map with that because it's a bit too dangerous. Not as flexible as Blink Stalkers. You've got to be home by this point. But I do like this scout from GUMIHO. If he continues in and spots that quick 3rd base, it's very valuable scouting. And there's no Stalker out here to stop that from happening. And indeed, it is another reactor, guys. So yeah, lots of Marines. Expect shields to queue up there in a moment. And that's still going to be combat shields finished by about 5 minutes 30, which is awesome when you think about it. I mean, because combat shields is what, 80 seconds, 70, 60? Probably 70 seconds for combat shields, I think. And the Marine. Oh, he sees the Nexus and he gets the probe. Good job on that Marine. Stalker, of course, can hunt him down. He's going to move forward, guys. That's a lot of Marauders. 5 Marauders, 8 Marines. Building 4 more Marines at a time right now. No shields on the way just yet. +1 weapons is there. He's trying to take a 3rd gas. And probably a 4th gas. He's so starved for gas. He ain't going to be able to afford medevacs. Combat shields is indeed 79 seconds. Basically 80 seconds. Observer sees him moving out. Stalkers can pick off these units, blink back, and be totally fine. He's already got a battery on his natural and a battery on his 3rd. And the observers are even going to see those units pulling back. So great map presence and control for MaxPax, who's gone up to 4 gateways. Always a good choice for someone on heavy barracks production. And look at that, guys. He's going to go in, pick off a Marine, get a volley on the Marauders. Oh, he might even get a Marauder and a Marine for just a few hit points. Very well done. That Marauder does go cartwheeling off to the heavens. Third base is looking nicely saturated, and honestly, GUMIHO looks so good in this matchup when he's able to keep his opponent guessing and keep them off balance. Right now, this to me feels like it is all in MaxPax's favor. I mean, he's been playing so much versus Clem lately, one of the best players in this matchup. Just feels like he's on point. +1 armor does start for GUMIHO. His third command center starts on location, and it's in a very uncommon position. Oh, and his army was spread so well there. He's going to get 4-5 Stalkers. Very nice 4-Stalker kill. And thankfully, MaxPax sees the expansion, but that's the advantage of keeping those units spread as a Terran. Cheeky Protoss player can get punished there. And +1 charges on the way. Like I said, guys, 4 gateways, but 4 more finishing. So he's going to be going to 8-gate charge. Do we have sentries? 3 sentries and an immortal. Remember, that's the core ranged section of your army. The Stalkers will join that, and with force fields, they can hold this choke point pretty much forever. But he doesn't have a lot of vision right now. Those Stalkers are going to push out. He glimpses the army. Does he notice it? He really should. Good blink back there so far. He's got probes out here as well. Realizing he's a little light on the vision. Double drop kind of advances towards the main. Some Stalkers move up there. There's no battery in the main. But I do like the gateway positioning, by the way, for MaxPax. Very well hidden behind his natural where it can't get depowered. Look at this, though. The Zealot warp in. And Zealots on the third. Gonna wreak havoc. Army on the front dives in, though. MaxPax caught, not watching. Battery overcharge. Oh, it gets depowered. GUMIHO shoves it in there. He shows a little bit of that 4GG style, just lack of caution, utter disregard. He says, oh, how dare you? I'm the one who's got a scary army. I've been building that all game. How dare you have Zealots hitting my bases? His third base did get cancelled behind this. He loses 9 SCVs as well, but he's killed so many important Protoss units, but he's got to get out of there. GUMIHO, it's time to leave, bro. Time to leave. You've got to gather up with those the rally at home. He's got to put workers back on gas in the main. He's got to rebuild his third, which I'd kind of like him to change the positioning on that third base if he could. Those Marines will stim and clean up these Zealots, but dude, the cancel on the third was massive. GUMIHO, no SCV production. He's going all in, lads. Puts himself back on SCVs. He starts an armory. This makes very little sense to me, an armory. I guess he's so focused on the Widow Mines right now. And he's building tech labs? He's building add-ons? Oh, no, this is not going to work for GUMIHO. He's kind of going in 2 different directions there. The armory and the tech labs are gearing up for a late game, but he doesn't have a third CC, and this Zealot run by comes in, catches a bunch of Marines. Those guys decide to leave the Zealots on a bit of a goose chase? What's the phrase? Something goose chase? Jesus, my brain has just been falling apart, slowly dribbling out my ears, guys. The Zealots are going to get cleaned up in the main, but another 7 SCVs. One more YOLO thrust from GUMIHO, and once again, GUMIHO finds a MaxPax who's kind of light on units. He's got double Colossus up, but I don't know if they're really got the numbers. Look, these units in the open look really exposed. 2 cannons and a battery are a very good fallback point. Battery overcharge doesn't actually get activated. Good patience, and MaxPax has immortals on both sides. GUMIHO's got to get out. GUMIHO's got to get out of here right now, but he's kind of all in. He gets 1 immortal with the immortal and Zealots coming from the left as well. He gets kind of flanked by immortals on both sides, getting healed by batteries, and that's always the nightmare, guys. If you end up with an arc, a concave of immortal Stalker getting healed by batteries on 2 sides, it's a disaster, and that's exactly the way Protoss players like to set these defenses up. They've realized that's one of the best ways to do it. And even though that Liberator is obviously causing a nuisance, this is desperately all in, but wait. Oh my lord. Okay, the Observer is going to do it. The Observer clears up the active Widow Mines. If he can clear those other Widow Mines, maybe MaxPax can clear this, maybe, but he loses all the probes on his natural. That squad of Bio looking good. The Reinforce is very, very soft for GUMIHO right now, and there are situations where soft is better. I'll tell you what, this is not one of them. You want a big, firm Marauder army right now. You don't want a handful of weak Marines and Medevacs. He's trying to gather his units forward. He does some damage. Does it? I think after that damage, this is where GUMIHO, I mean, he's got to drop mules. He's got so much energy. But he should actually start a 3rd command center and start harassing and clearing up the map. He should be looking to deny probes on the map. He should be trying to scan the Observer. I know this sounds like long-term stuff, but he's going +2 weapons. I mean, if you're going +2 weapons, you already invested in that armory, which, yeah, it was annoying because he didn't have the vision with the Observers. Like, yeah, the armory kind of paid off. But you've got to swap into that 3rd base as well. I think he's just thinking of this as a protracted 2-base all-in, where he's going to lift this down here and drop mules like crazy. If that's the case, he should drop mule there, and there, and then move it down. Instead, he drops some mules on the natural, think he's still worried about DTs potentially coming in. Lib's actually pretty good units for hunting down warp prisms if you've got a pair of them, because they of course can chase anyway with the help of the Marines. That does go down. Now Stalkers come up here. They do not see the double drop in the top left, and that's kind of hidden up there, which is really good for Gumi. Gumi's going to move this down. He's going to extend this 2 base all in. 3 tech labs, 2 reactors. Lots of bio production. Problem for him, guys. Colossus count is growing. There's 2 Colossus out with +2. Viagra +3, and a 3rd Colossus are on the way. And Widowmine Liberator Army doesn't do well versus that. Now, oh, he kind of came up behind hoping to sandwich those Zealots. Doesn't get many of them. Gets maybe a Zealot or 2, 1 Stalker on the Watchtower. This army you can't push through. So the way you attack here is GUMIHO. The dream is that you outposition him, you unload, and siege libs on the ramp. That's the best angle, because you're never going to fight into this 3rd. The natural also is a bit questionable going in. The Colossus range is just so damned good. Stalkers get a medevac and a Marine. A Stalker does go down, so it's not a free trade by any means. GUMIHO's going to rotate to the right side, see if he can find an angle. At the very least, he's kind of denying the base. But oh, MaxPax is on top of him. There's no actual Stalkers there, though. Army on the left comes in. I said attacking into this area is kind of, don't want to do that. Because of that battery overcharge, Stalkers in the main deflect him there. I mean, I don't like this push on the left side. The battery overcharge is just so good here, man. But you know what? He still is opening up an angle. It's just, is this efficient? The Zealots will clean that up. Oh, he tries to go in the main. The Stalkers deflect it. It feels like GUMIHO here is just 1 step behind against MaxPax. He's killing more probes, though. And another 11 probes. And you know what? He's still got those 3 medevacs full. The Observer watching him is a big problem. The 3 Colossus are out. Viagra is about to kick in. +3 range. It's going to kick in the next 70, 80 seconds as well. Wild goose chase. That's the phrase. Thank you, chat. Why is it a wild goose chase? Who goes on a wild goose chase? That's crazy. Oh, Marauders Marines running to the left side of this map. They got to get away from that. Those Colossus are such a big problem, man. Such a big problem. But MaxPax is only on 3 bases. You got to remember, his bases will start mining out. His income lead is not that big anymore. So GUMIHO is kind of chilled out hanging here. He's building that 3rd command center over on the 4th base location. He's getting ready to sandwich MaxPax. Oh my god, MaxPax, great force fields on the south side. This army, it's got to unload. GUMIHO fumbling for a moment there, taking too long to unload, and that allows the Zealot Stalker to get there. If he unloaded that even a second sooner, I think those Colossus go down. As it is though, MaxPax salvages a big overstep with the force fields on the south. That was a fantastic save for MaxPax, who adds disruptors. He adds his own 4th. And I think with the +3 upgrades, yeah, he's going to tie up the upgrades. 42 SCVs only. 2 Colossus still standing. I feel like he's still got the tech advantage. He's got recall available in that main, which is very important right now. He's going to try and run back for the moment. Nexus gets cancelled. GUMIHO playing it kind of cautious. He doesn't realize this army is going to be coming from this angle. He's thinking about going in the main. Yeah, there's nothing there. And MaxPax recalls. Load back up. Leave. MaxPax. You can't be... Oh, GUMIHO took way too long to decide to leave there. He loses a medevac and a few Marauders. I mean, at least he gets a Stalker for it, but a little sloppy there. The moment you make a move like that, guys, as a Terran, you're watching for the recall. The moment you see the recall graphic, you pick up and leave. That's what that move's all about. And then after that, you do have a big 120-second window before that strategic recall comes off cooldown, where you can actually commit to that move if you outposition them. Now, these observers really good for seeing where the economy's at, but MaxPax really should be shuffling at least one of these over here. I've criticized MaxPax and a lot of Protoss players like Showtime for this in the past. I've said Zest is the best in the world at this. Other players are lacking. Nice Zealots on the map. I love that he's moving Zealots around, that the Widowmine does kill it. I love that he's putting a defensive observer up there. But imagine how good an observer on this right side of the map, as well as this one sieging up here, would be to really see what's going on. It's nice to see their production and their economy, but it's just not as important as actually seeing where their roaming forces are on the map. So definitely one small detail which MaxPax could improve on in the midst of this chaos. His real strength, as always, is his Zealot run-bys. His Zealot drops are amazing. Of course, he doesn't have a Warp Prism right now. He kills a few Marines, drop in the main. Oh, targets, I think, was that a full medevac? I think it was a full medevac that went down before it could unload, and with battery overcharge. Yeah, GUMIHO doing a little bit of a one-pronged pressure. I think he thought his other army was creating a little bit more threat than it was. Go home, GUMIHO. Go home. No. GUMIHO, what are you doing? Oh, this is just silly. GUMIHO, at this point, I think he just feels dead after losing those units, and indeed he does. Too much high-tier units coming out for MaxPax. The Colossus still alive. The Disruptor's there. And GG, well played. Game 1 goes to MaxPax. Anyways, guys, let's go. Going into game 2, MaxPax in the bottom right is doing a MaxPax. That's right, guys. He sent one of his first probes across, built his second pylon here. Of course, he built a first pylon at home just to keep up probe production. And he's gone for a gateway. He's trying to chrono 2 zealots out of that and then a stalker. And he's going to get a nexus up at a reasonable timing behind this. And that's what's so beautiful about this build, guys. That nexus still goes down. Now, unfortunately for him, he's playing GUMIHO, guys. And GUMIHO, without scouting, is going for a command center on the high ground. Now, I don't know if there's a specific reason, if he just thought maybe because I know this is in MaxPax range, I'm just gonna gamble, I'm just gonna like blindly counter that. But MaxPax sees nothing there and is like, are you kidding me? So MaxPax is gonna have to build a shield battery in his mineral line. If he doesn't do that, which he's not, he's gonna have to recall this stalker. Okay, so he's gonna try and send the zealots in and maybe bust the depot. There's only one marine, but you can just pull SCVs to repair with no bunker at home. Actually, MaxPax could really gamble on this, guys. MaxPax, okay, his zealots show themselves. The Reaper, of course, is going to cause trouble. If this battery was down earlier, this would be so much better for MaxPax. Oh, he gets a surround, GUMIHO. Wait, no, GUMIHO gets out of the surround. But wait, he doesn't pull the SCVs. Oh my God, GUMIHO. Oh, the command center on the high ground was so good, but it wasn't for this build order. He wasn't thinking about this build order. Now, the Marauder can pop out and kill the Stalker very quickly. That Marine's going to go down, though, before anything else happens here. And that means, okay, SCVs have to surround the Zealots. The Marauder will beat the Stalker if he can surround these Zealots, and he will do just that. But, oh my God, my hand's on my head there. There's such a bump. If he just pulled the SCVs to repair a little bit quicker and keep that depot up, that would have been so much nicer. His Reaper is still alive, but it's come home, and I guess that makes sense. If his Reaper went back in right now, though, he could pick off a few probes, taking advantage of this very greedy build from MaxPax. Of course, MaxPax now rallying a Stalker home. Doesn't want to stay over there where Marauders could take out his Stalkers. Now, he might try to pop that out and quickly recall it. Does he bring this Stalker back? He might try and kill... Okay, he's going to target the Reaper. You can see he's rallying onto the Marauder. Actually, he's saying, hey, if I kill the Marauder, the other guys don't do much damage, we can win this fight. But nice bounce to stop the Stalkers hitting one of their attacks. The Reaper and the Hellion now have to back on out of there. He's going to... Oh, I like the Widow Mine. But MaxPax... Oh, he goes... Just barely gets out before that fires. I really thought that was going to fire. Oh, man. Oh. Question in chat, did MaxPax ever answer you, Pig, about why he turned down his Katowice slot? He did not, guys, and that's his own business, so we're going to respect his privacy there and stuff. Remember, he's still a minor, he's still like 17 years old, probably needs his parents' permission and stuff. Don't know if that's the case, don't know if he's not comfortable out there, if he enjoys the mystery of hiding his face and being this mysterious character in the scene or what. But either way, I'm absolutely happy for him to just continue as is. And if he's not happy competing at LAN, then that's what it is. He's already paid fines on his prize money to ESL in the DreamHack Masters tournaments for like basically having a bit of his prize money fine because he wouldn't use his webcam. And that's part of the rules they have is, hey, you've got to use your webcam so we can have a camera feed on you while you're playing in the big events. And he refused to do that and actually was apparently happy, so, you know, paying that. So not the biggest surprise. Nice. Widowmine gets one of the Stalkers. Now he's going for the pylon. Yeah, I think change to the probes, dude. And he's going to go for that Stalker there for a little bit. Forces the probes to buffer for it. And he's going to go for that other Stalker. It already took a bunch of damage, man. So these Marauders getting mining time. Multiple probes, Stalkers, Zealots. And I got to say, this feels really quite fine for the Terran player GUMIHO. He's got a bunker at home. He's got a Cyclone. He's going to go double Tech Lab on the barracks behind the reactor. He's already pumping Marines. And you can see MaxPax here realizes this is not a great position. This is an awkward start. Get that third down. I need to get the workers pumping for that because we've both slowed each other down a lot. There's probably going to be an extended period where neither of us can really attack. Like, I've got Blink, but I have no Stalkers, right? He's like, I have one Stalker as Blink finishes. On the other hand, he probably doesn't have a Starport, right? He probably isn't going to be Widowmine dropping me in the next few seconds, is he? I mean, we know that for sure. GUMIHO, of course, doesn't know what's coming his way. He's going to be very safe with a bunker out there, building a depot as well. I think that's just in case the Stalkers blink up, it just is going to make moving around a bit more awkward for them. It's actually definitely worth doing things like that. Cyclones are going to look for a bit of pokey poke. They should not hang around, guys. Cyclone lock-on only does 400 damage over 14 seconds. Even a full double lock-on would not kill at this point. Seize the third and get the hell out of there. These Cyclones are great supporting units later on in a lot of the fights, but right now, when there's blink out, Stalkers dominate Cyclones on the map. So I'd love to see him just pull home, and especially MaxPax has been obnoxious with his observer placement lately, guys. He loves to just set it up right above the Terrans, base, and he likes to set it up here. Now, why there? Because it's across this terrain. It's easier. If it's out here in the open, I find it's usually easier to see it. But when it's over these like doodads and these little towers and things, people just don't notice it as much. GUMIHO apparently has been eating his carrots, guys. He's got those sharp eyeballs. Builds a star fort there. Does he have an engineering bay? Yeah, he's got that +1 up, about to kick in. Big marine bio tank army, but he doesn't actually have medevacs even started producing, and he doesn't have a reactor really to swap on. I think that barracks will swap off and build a new reactor for itself. He's already got a good little pack of marines, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. MaxPax right now, guys, has a Colossus, 4 Stalkers, 2 Sentries. I said this is how he should play, be greedy to catch back up. Will it bite him in the ass? Were my instincts and also MaxPax's instincts completely wrong? Because he didn't have the information about the 3 racks and the delayed starport, right? He didn't realize that this is such a quick build up into the stim and everything. The tanks didn't even siege at first. The Cyclones do get some pretty good lock-ons, some good volleys on top of those sentries as well. But a cannon and a battery finish just in time. That's really going to help anchor this position. And I think having killed one of the siege tanks is really huge. Now, the Marines are going to try and fight, but with battery overcharge, I think this is a terrible choice for GUMIHO to engage. I say that. He kills a lot of the tech units. But as MaxPax pulls back, you definitely got to disengage. Units lost tab is still pretty even on both sides. You've got your 3rd building on location. It's not the worst fight of all time by any means, is it? I mean, you've got your armor started. You're now going 4th and 5th barracks. He sold his bunker to get a bit more minerals. He's down only 14 workers. I don't think that's the end of the world for him, as the 3rd base is now getting full of workers. Of course, it's already 8 minutes at this point. Because of all the fighting in the early game, the 4th base is going to be a bigger power spike. Now, it's a concept I've talked about a lot, guys, but basically, if you both open up macro-wise, you saturate your 3rd, 6 minutes 30, something like that, cool, you've got a few minutes before this base mines out. In this case, already, we've got all the patches mining out. That one somehow didn't have workers mining on it. I don't know I think it's the battery placement. And he maybe only had 1 worker on that for a while. Ooh, Stalker or 2 do die there. He's got a drop in the top. That marine drop could do some nice damage bouncing around. Anyway, point being, whoever gets a 4th up is going to enable their workers to mine, because already that base is fully saturated. His next 10 SCVs aren't really going to have anywhere to mine from efficiently. Same for MaxPax. He's already oversaturated by 6 workers in the main, and any more probes he builds has nowhere to mine from. So whoever gets a 4th base in these scrappy early games gives you just a real smooth usage of your economy. Otherwise, you're only at full mining efficiency with about 58 workers, because 8 of those workers out of the 66, assuming you're on 6 gases, simply don't have anywhere to mine from. They're just stacking on top of those patches. They're becoming the 3rd worker on a mineral patch, the less efficient worker. Each one's only working at about 50% efficiency. So just a small little detail to keep in mind. 4 tanks, 3 tanks and a Cyclone, sorry. Not many Marines, guys. There's very few Marines, which means Zealots are going to be hard for GUMIHO to deal with. This army is a Stalker, Sentry, Colossus killing army. It's not great at killing Zealots. So if that Zealot count can grow, that's going to be really nice for MaxPax. Now, the 2nd reactor did come up, and that 1st reactor did rebuild itself as well. So he's got a bit more marine production, which will help. You see how bad Marauders are at killing Zealots. They just take a long time to do it. 4th base got cancelled on the top. Another 4th base gets cancelled in the bottom. Guys, MaxPax might have to start thinking about carriers. And remember, we've seen GUMIHO throw games against carriers, same way Clem has recently. We were casting that Clem vs MaxPax series from Last Chance, where he kind of let the game slip away due to a carrier play, and I remember GUMIHO did the same thing in Pigstarcraft Festival. I can't remember. Was that versus MaxPax as well? Does anyone remember? Is it always MaxPax that makes disgusting carrier comebacks? I think it might have been Zest. Either way, great catch here by MaxPax. Get some of these units. One of those tanks almost got left behind. Bio on the right, though. Get out of there. Get out of there. Stim and run. Stim and run. Okay, there we go. He's going to try and stim to get out of there. We've got Zealot warp in on the 4th building on location here. GUMIHO's army's a little spread out right now. I think for GUMIHO, this is getting too scary. You really want to consolidate your forces. There's an army right there. Look at the way MaxPax is just fighting so aggressively. He's really putting the pressure on GUMIHO here. I didn't like that blink too much. He's going to focus down the Marauders, so he still should be able to cancel this base. GUMIHO wants to keep it alive so badly. 250 hit points. He stims more bio out. Another SCV comes out to finish building that. And quite a few of those Stalkers do die on the retreat as well. Warp Prism. Ow! Barely gets out of there. Double Disruptor Production's on the way. 4th base on the way as well. 2-2 upgrades for the Terran, whereas it's only +2 for MaxPax. Definitely feel like GUMIHO came out quite okay after what looked like a very scary opening. The Zealots getting surrounded by the SCVs definitely working in his favor. Bio on the right side, Cyclone over there. Oh, he's gonna get it! Oh, that's nice. Prism getting caught out. Stalkers run to their death. All 4 of them will go down. Oh man, GUMIHO's supply is so far ahead at this point, but balls! Doesn't get too much on the first one. He's out in the open, and without a battery overcharge, that second ball gets stomped on. Army on the left, still posturing. GUMIHO, the unsieged tank king. Zealot run by should get dealt with there, but on the middle, he's getting routed as GUMIHO. GUMIHO, though, killing the third base of MaxPax. That army needs to run home, and it needs to run home right now. Looks like he did clean up everything at home. On the front, he's still pushing on forward. MaxPax here. He doesn't have enough units. Just a few stalkers. His army's trying to come back from that left side of the map. But this bio will push into the mineral line. Before that happens, the stalkers are buying time, and this is getting a bit nasty. GUMIHO, oh, I think he might have stayed a bit too long. And with those blink backs, you can see this is starting to cost GUMIHO a little bit more. The tail end of that trade, nowhere near as good as the start of it. Unfortunately for MaxPax, he's on 38 probes, 3 base versus a 4 base Terran. At this point, GUMIHO, what are you worried about? Those 3 Colossus. If he can keep his tanks alive, he should be okay. That's really what he should be worried about. I like the spotting SCV. He wants to see where this army's coming from. His army's very focused on the north. He's got to figure out that this army's coming from the bottom, because if that army gets up into his natural, MaxPax could absolutely make this happen. Look, the supply is pretty similar, guys. It's got a lot of Archons. There's no Ghosts out. If GUMIHO's tanks get caught out, he doesn't really have a way to deal with the Colossus. There's no Vikings on this map, and look at that. 2 medevacs are taken out. That siege tank will go down. These 2 tanks are sieging way too close to the front. They do nothing. This is exactly what I was saying GUMIHO needed to be careful about. He's just butchered his opponent's economy. All he needed to do was pull back and defend. But this is the bad decision-making, which GUMIHO rarely shows in the other matchups. But he does against Protoss, where GUMIHO, I think, always feels a little bit behind versus Protoss. And even in a situation like this, where he had such a clear economy advantage, army maybe disadvantage, but really it wasn't a disadvantage. He just split his army up for no reason. He just needed to defend that economy lead for a minute or 2, add some ghosts maybe, and he would have won the game. But now, he lets MaxPax split up, kill 1/3 of his army, then another 1/3 of his army, start wiping out his economy. Now, GUMIHO could still win a base trade, but this game is unnecessarily close. It did not need to be this close. He was so far ahead, but it's so, you know, I'm a massive GUMIHO fanboy, for those who don't know. He's going for that Nexus so that MaxPax can't recall. He says, look, if I take that out, he can't recall, we're okay. And he's just going to try and defend the main base as best he can. He should raise that depot, and he should have already rammed some of these SCVs. He's going to hide him to the left side. He should already be fighting over here. GUMIHO. Uh-oh. Okay, so GUMIHO's got a lot of units, but he doesn't have any medevacs here. He's going to try and spread and engage. He's going to try and come on forwards. He's trying to move in and focus these units, but force fields plus Archon Guardian Shield. Oh, his army gets slaughtered there. He's going to pick up and save some of these units. Command centers are trying to float out of there. Cyclone's going to pick up some of these probes. SCVs are going to attack them. And trying to pull... I don't think he can win a frontal fight, GUMIHO. I think he has to play this for the draw now. And what a missed opportunity this is. Just, he didn't reestablish map control. And it's a small map. MaxPax desperately counterpushed. I think GUMIHO didn't realize how much damage he'd done to the economy. With so much fighting going on, he didn't realize MaxPax's economy was so shit. Now he's going to try and fight him front on, but you cannot beat this army, not with what he's got. He doesn't have EMP to deal with the Archons and the Sentries. Force Field Archon Colossus counters his army very hard. GUMIHO should not be standing his ground here. He's going to try and do it. I don't think there's any way this works for him. I mean, he should be base trading this. He's still got production up. He's got multiple orbitals. This guy should float along the edge and then land there and drop mules, but he's going to let it get set on fire. And I got to be critical of GUMIHO because he really had set himself up for what should have been a victory or very close to. Should be able to get the Prism. Very nice. And maybe get a bit of damage on the Colossus. There's only 2 Stalkers in this game. Damn.
Like when it's the wet season.
Mule's there. He's lost another orbital. That means that's his last orbital. Oh no, last 2 orbitals. He's got one on that he should send to the top right. But he's once again leaving this in the open. This should be hiding. He should be floating that through the middle of the map. And he absolutely should be trying to eliminate the buildings right now. I don't know what Gumi's doing. Eliminate the buildings, mate. Eliminate the buildings. You can't fight the army. Kill the buildings. Put him on the timer, and then go for the base. Now, obviously, I'm cheering for GUMIHO. That's why I'm being critical, guys, because I think he should win this game and get a game 3, or he should have. I think he's now behind. I do think MaxPax is ahead, but with only 2 Stalkers, 4 Archons, 3 Sentries. Archons and Sentries very immobile anti-air. They're just not that good at hitting up or anything like that. GUMIHO's splitting his army right now, which is, I think, a very cute way of playing. I don't mind it at all. There's not much that can chase you down. You can kind of roam around, but he shouldn't be sitting still. So this is the problem. The thing is, the moment he sees this army coming, I want to see him lift this, get to the edge of the map, abandon. And these guys diving in, a fantastic maneuver, but he cannot stand and fight. He needs to give immense respect to this force. And look at that, no lift. Where's the lift on the command center? I get the bio getting it. That's important. He's going to grab these probes. Only 2 left. Oh, he gets them. Okay, there's 2 probes left. One there, one there. Ah, great preparation from MaxPax, who's going to recall. And these units have to run. There's only 2 stalkers to hunt them down. He does keep his army alive, but he lost another command center. This is what I'm talking about, guys. GUMIHO, he should be using a floating barracks to see when the army's coming. And when the army's coming, run the SCVs, run the command center ahead of time. And once again, do that same split if you want. I don't mind that army split, but he's got to play the maneuverability game. The Colossus and the Archons are just such a powerful force against him. Cannot beat them front on. So equal army supply right now. GUMIHO can keep building Marines. Whereas, I mean, the production is still there. Man, if GUMIHO had if MaxPax had a DT shrine, that would be a huge problem. But 7 Marines building at a time. Every mule that drops is pretty massive. These Stalkers, of course. If he ever kills those Stalkers, that could be big. Oh, boosting in? Guys, boosting in is not... That's a very dangerous play from GUMIHO. You want to save the boost for the way out. Every unit is sacred, bro. 5 probes are there mining right now. You could just drop on top of that. Yep, 3 Marauders and a Marine. Definitely could pick these units off. He's got a tank out as well. He's building tanks. Wow. Power of mules compels you, mate. He's now going to go for those buildings. These Marines should be able to deal with this Zealot. And indeed they will. It does get a few SCV kills though, so not bad. Very well done. And he's used all of his mules, guys. And he's only got 1 SCV. So the income, all those Marines and stuff, that was all from those mules that had stacked on those orbitals during the initial base trade. But GUMIHO, he lost his SCVs now. And he's got 1 mule. You know, it's not that much that's available. Oh, I like this. The Vikings can always lift up and leave. He's got army in the top and this army here. I definitely like the idea of sending an army around to threaten the base again. Pull out. So MaxPax, you can see he's left some Archons at home and he's got recall almost available. So this is the way MaxPax is playing. Is slowly rebuild his economy there and then basically only engage when you've got recall ready and keep hallucinating Archons to pretend most of your army is here. And then if you can bait him into going for that base, you can maybe come back and shave off some of those units. Now the dream here with all these gateways and the Cybercore up is get 2 gases and start warping in Stalkers. And if you can get enough Stalkers, you can start hunting down GUMIHO on the map. And MaxPax is getting close. I expect the double gas to go down any moment now. GUMIHO's army is a bit clumped up. The Viking comes down. It looks like he just killed one of the 2 Vikings there with the Stalkers and then disengaged. Oh, GUMIHO going for a fight. He's got 1 tank siege, but he gets a Colossus, but the Archons are so powerful, man. And fighting into Archon Colossus, I cannot get behind this at all. I mean, if he kills all the production and keeps all his production alive, GUMIHO is way ahead. But once again, I feel there's these 4GG-esque moves in GUMIHO's play, and they somehow sometimes work for him, and then other times it's like, why are you risking this? Kill the production. It's completely out. If you kill that, this base isn't worth anything. Whereas every bit you mine is immediately transformed into Marines, which are great versus Zealots, tanks, which if you get 4 or 5 tank sieged can gun the Colossus down. And now he's thrown his army away. He's going after these units, but I just feel like MaxPax looks way more calm and composed in this base trade, doing things correctly. I mean, obviously he's got the army that wins the frontal fight, so he doesn't need to do anything too fancy, but GUMIHO's playing into his hands, and he just looks a little bit frantic there. GUMIHO should have been able to force a draw, or at least something similar, and MaxPax instead gets the 2-0. GUMIHO, I got to bring that back, guys. I don't like being overly critical because it is, you know, we get to see everything. So let's bring that back and say, Pig, you're being way too critical on GUMIHO there. I thought he'd done such a good job of securing it from what felt like not scouting a MaxPax build and then accidentally letting his depot burn down because he was microing his Reaper. I was like, this is so hard. So I was so friggin' excited when he got all that economy damage and basically secured the win. But if we look back at this point, I want to just point out, kind of, look at how well he did this, guys. He does a beautiful spready there. He engages there. He kills all these probes, does so much. But he doesn't seem to realize, at this point, the situation that he's in. Check it out. He's up 10 army supply. He's up 2 upgrades, 4 bases, 65 workers versus 41 3 bases. MaxPax is literally trying to transfer workers from his main to this shitty 4th. There's such a desperate attack. He doesn't even have a warp prism with it. He's trying to chrono it. It's so desperate. And if GUMIHO just brought his army to bear, guys, he's got 3 tanks, 15 marauders, 16 marines, 2 vikings. It beats this army. There's no zealots in there. But he didn't get map vision back. He didn't send any units out on the map or leave any units on the map. A zealot cleans up the SCV, and he's just so blind, and he's trying to add sensor towers, and he just gets completely blindsided by this attack. And this is kind of the beginning of his lead just disappearing, as him being totally unprepared and losing 1, 2, 3 tanks, which, as I was saying, is the most important part of his army. And even there, if he brought all these units back, he, I think, could have deflected all this. Like, he would have had to pull the SCVs back. But if he's got the rally from the main and all these units joining up with all those units, I think he could actually beat this army because he's just got so much bio. But MaxPax, an absolute monster, so calm under pressure. He finds basically the only counter timing that could have potentially won in this game. Well done to Maximus.